Daniel and the scary sleepover. Things were not looking good for God's people. They had been captured and taken far from home.
Captured mean?
Captured means somebody takes hold of you and traps you.
And they're trying to get you.
That's exactly
if you were right here and they came down, that means.
Yep, and there was the Babylonians that captured God's people, the Israelites.
Who's the Israelites?
Now,
Pharaoh's army.
Well, they had a pharaoh. He was more like a king, but it wasn't pharaoh. It was a different king.
Oh.
And God's people were now slaves.
A different king's army they captured.
They got captured by them. Yep. Slaves of the king of Babylon.
Who's Babylon?
Babylon was east of Israel, a country to the east, way back in many years ago. It's not there anymore. But God had not left his people. He was with them, and he was looking after them. Daniel loved God and obeyed him. Now God made Daniel able to understand lots of difficult things, so it wasn't long before the king of Babylon noticed him. King Darius liked how clever Daniel was, so he made Daniel his most important helper of all, and put him in charge of lots of other helpers. But the other helpers didn't like this. They didn't like Daniel, that's right. They wanted the king to like them the best.
They wanted him to go to the lion den.
That's exactly right. That's exactly where the story's going.
Does he want him to go into the lion?
No, because that's Darius, the king. The king liked Daniel, but the king got tricked. We're going to read about how the king got tricked, okay?
He gets tricked because he goes in the lion den instead of Daniel.
Well, no, Daniel went in the lion's den, but Darius didn't want to put him there. But let's
that's
read
how
about
he
it.
got tricked.
Well, no, that's not quite how he got tricked. Let's listen, because we're going to get there in just a second. So the other men wanted to get rid of Daniel, so they spied on Daniel. They tried to find things wrong with him, things they could tell the king, things they could, but there weren't any. None. They couldn't find anything at all, except there was just the one thing. Every day, 3 times a day, without fail, no matter what, Daniel went to his room, closed the door, and what did he do?
Prayed.
Exactly. He prayed. They smiled to themselves. Let's get the king to make a law. No one is allowed to pray to anyone.
The mirror.
Oh, yeah.
The mirror.
Yeah. I got it. We're reading the Bible book. You want to come up here and listen with us? You can sit right here. You can sit right here.
It's a special seat, Elliot.
It is a special seat. Let's make a rule that no one's allowed to pray to anyone except the king. Daniel won't obey this law, and he will be punished. They were pleased with themselves for being so clever and hurried off to tell the king. The king liked their idea. He didn't know they were tricking him, so he made it into a law. Everyone must pray, only to me. If you don't, the lions will have you for dinner. Daniel heard this. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound nice.
They're going to get bite.
Well, they're going to bite Daniel, maybe.
But we're going to read about him. He's not going to get bite.
He bit? He's not going to get bit?
Remember?
Awesome.
He's not going to get bitten.
That's right.
He's just going to make the lions go to sleep.
That's right.
He's going to make the lions go to sleep. He's going to tiptoe and he's not going to get bite.
Bit.
Bit.
That's right.
He's not getting
Daniel
bit.
heard this
They're
rule.
not getting bit.
They're not going to bite Daniel, no. God protected Daniel.
That's Daniel.
Yep. So Daniel heard this new law. He knew it was wrong to pray to anyone except God. He had to do what God said, whatever it cost him, even if it meant he would die. So Daniel went to his room, he closed the door, and what did he do, Jack and Cohen?
Pray.
He prayed. That's exactly right.
Pray.
That's just what the bad men knew Daniel would do. They skipped off straight to tell the king. Oh, your most glittering highness, your law says, does it not, that everyone must pray to you alone, king? Yes, said the king. Oh, magisterial brightness, then correct us if we're wrong, but it would seem that Daniel is praying to God and not to you. The king was sad. He had been tricked. He didn't want to hurt Daniel, but he couldn't change his law. So he let the soldiers throw Daniel to the lions. May your God, who you love so much, rescue you, the king said. The king went back to his palace, but he didn't sleep that night, not a wink. He tossed and turned until finally...
He's not getting bit.
You're right. Until finally, at the first glimmer of dawn, he leaped out of bed and ran straight to the den. Daniel, he cried, has your God rescued you?
Did that
Yes.
guy not bite
That's
you?
right, the bad lion didn't bite him. Yes, Daniel shouted. God sent an angel to close the lion's mouth, and there, resting on his head on Daniel's lap, was the biggest lion, purring like a little kitten. The king brought Daniel out of the den. Look, he said, Daniel doesn't even have a scratch. Now the king made a new law. Daniel's God is the true God, the God who rescues. Pray to him instead. God would keep on rescuing his people, and the time was coming when God would send another brave hero, like Daniel, who would love God and do what God said, whatever it cost him, even if it meant he would die. And together, they would pull off the greatest rescue the world has ever known. All right, Jackson.
Hey, look at my
Can you
foot.
stop it, big guy? Where's your foot? Oh, yeah.